Well, depending on whether we got offered a new contract or not, this could well be our last transfer window at Slask. So maybe there's a surprise coming for all of us. We'll find out. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm ChasingLamely, and we'll start with the first news items that we've got, and we'll kind of cut and come back as and when there is important things to know, and including the status of our contract, because we need to know. So we have had the overall best 11 inductees announced. Bright Inabakare has found his way in, making 34 appearances, scoring 7 goals, averaging a 7.35. Jankovic, Gomez and Cruz also make the bench, which is quite nice, which means our best all-time 11 is Sherpen, Dankovsky, Puerto, Raggett, Piacek, Vincent, Longstaff, Ledley, Inabakare, Sterling and Bright. The only one who's not currently contracted to the club is Dankovsky. He's still playing for Charleroi. I say playing, he's had 12, 13 appearances for them, despite them spending £2.5 million on him. So, you know, it is what it is, but I don't think he's made a right move there. Just a thought. Anyway, that's the best 11. These are the end of season awards. So, player of the season, of course, Akiri Wright at 52% of the vote. Matty Longstaff gets 24% in second. Bright Inabakare gets 15% in third. Goal of the season is Akiri Wright. I think we live com this game, but just in case we didn't, or even if we did, we'll have a look and see how this one went in. I have a feeling this was his big old screamer. It's just a feeling this was his big screamer from just outside the box. He scored loads of goals this season. I don't know how I'm supposed to keep track of what the best one was. It could be a free kick. It could be pretty much anything. Could even load at some stage. Here we go. Right, Zek picks it up. Turns the keeper. Goes for a straight up run on the keeper. And then just smashes it home off the crossbar. I don't think that's even in his top 10 goals this season, to be honest. But apparently the game disagrees. Right, Bright Inabakare is our signing of the season. Free transfer from Wolves, can't argue with that. And our young player of the season is Matty Longstaff at 22. Let's look at some stats. Top goal scorer, Akiri Wright. 27 goals for us. Of those 27, 22 came in the league, which is quite a return. Highest average rating, Wright at 7.58. Most assists for Felipe Cruz, 10 assists. Alexander Jankovic has the best pass completion rate at 91%, which is just dirty. Akiri Wright, most player of the match awards with 10. Most yellow cards goes to Marcel Piacek with 6. And Matthias Makovic and Felipe Cruz share the honours of the most red cards with 1. Our team of the season, Sherpen, Cruz, Gomez, Guay, Piacek, Vincent, Longstaff, Jankovic, Inabakare, Wright and Sterling, which is pretty good. Our season review. Few tipped us to achieve more than a top half finish. I think we were predicted 6th. Because I had every expectation from mounting a title challenge, and even though we ultimately fell short, however, it is to be proud when they look back at things. We ultimately finished where many had expected to at the start of the campaign. They definitely predicted 6th, but slipped to 7th at one point during a rough patch that was rather representative of the sort of campaign they experienced. Okay, lost in the quarterfinal of the Cup, runner-up in the Extraclasa, which is still pretty good. But you see, like, it's very rare we were off the top rungs. We've been sat in second since I don't even know how far back that was. But even so, match of the season was our 3-0 win against Jagiellonia. Moment to forget our 2-0 loss against Pogon right towards the start of the season. Average attendance of 13,000, which is pretty decent for us. 31% for us. That's the highest we've ever had, and we've used 54 players. Let's see what our visions and expectations are going forward. It's interesting because it says end of next season our contract expires, but I am pretty certain it's this season. Like, I'm pretty certain it's this season. It is this season our contract expires, so they're talking waffle. Maybe there's some kind of bug, which is why they haven't given me the job, or given me the new contract. So our ongoing plan is to work within the budget, minimum 2-year contracts, first team players, easy. Finish top 2 next season. Okay. I'm not sure why it thinks my contract still expires there. And we're going to reach the group stage of the Euro Cup minimum, which is going to be very interesting. I'm going to see if I can maybe reduce the importance of that? No? No? Okay. Silverware. Challenge. No. I'm not adding expectations. We're just going to maintain a top 2 finish from here on out. No pressure. Squad dynamics report. Professional atmosphere has gone down a little bit recently. Managerial support excellent. Team leaders are of course Ledley and Wright, with Puerto, Longstaff, Sherpan and Sterling making up the highly influential lot. End of season team meeting. Israel Puerto wants a new deal to reflect his ability. If he'd said anything to me, that would have been nice. Piaszek and Wright are considering whether they should look to move to a bigger club. Makoviak is worried about being left out of a training camp squad. Bargel thinks he needs a new contract. Alright, we'll figure that all out as it comes up. Season finish, focus on what we can go forward. I think we can challenge for the title next year. That'll do. That was pretty much as good as I can get out of them, so we'll do that. Shantrosha itches thingy bob for injuries. Lots of players, lots of injuries. Lots of players, lots of injuries, like I said. End of season break, that's fine until the 13th of June. We did all that. Right, I'm going to come back when I get a transfer budget, because as I recall, it came through like early June last year, which is a long time. So we'll see how that shakes out. Back when that arrives. No budget yet, but we've got some awards in. I did a little bit of a look back and realised that the budgets didn't come until the 6th of June last year. Also, still no new contract, but Akira Wright has won the Extra Class Player of the Season, and he seems pretty happy about it. Manager of the Season shortlist. Am I on the Manager of the Season shortlist? I am on the Manager of the Season shortlist. Excellent. In which case, we'll take a look at these win ratios, and I guess we'll vote for Maciej Bartoszek, because how did he get on this nomination list with a 16% win ratio? Really? Feel like I've got to be in the running, but it's probably going to go to the Legia manager. Slash players and team of the season. Piaszek makes it, Longstaff makes it, Sterling makes it, Wright makes it, Gomez, Jankovic, Inabakare, Felipe Cruz on the bench, and Kjell Sherpan in goal. Brilliant. And Akira Wright wins the top goal scorer award, which is also pretty special. He's been paid $31,000 for being the top goal scorer, and we're going to come back when we get a budget, I think, or a contract. Budget or contract. Let's see what's on the other side of this. Okay, we've reached June the 7th. Still no transfer budget. But because I was an idiot and just kept clicking through, I did sign a new contract. So we've now on £1,500 a week, which is an improvement from, I think we were on 12 before. And yeah, we've hit ourselves with a 3-year extension, which is pretty strong. Percentage of club compensation required for a managerial role is £220,000. They obviously value us. There's a big old bonus winning the FA Cup because they're determined we should win an FA Cup. It hasn't affected the division at all, but it also hasn't given us a bonus. And this, at least this year, that it has some weird expectation in the cup. At least, not that I've seen. I don't know what the competition performance is going to look like, because no one has told me anything. So I guess we'll be okay. Doesn't say it's important. I don't know. Either way, I'll come back when I finally get a budget, I guess. Well, it looks like we've just had our first big transfer news. Brighton and Bakare is receiving offers, and I forgot there was a £2.8 million minimum fee release clause in his contract. So I'm hoping I can persuade him to sign another contract. But it's looking like no, he may be leaving to go back to the Championship. But we also signed him on a free, and that's a hefty profit, so we'll see what happens. Otherwise, not a lot happening. Otherwise, we're going to offer Przemysław Bargel a contract because we know he's good enough to be here for the long term. Well, this looks like a good deal to me. And apparently we don't need another chief scout, but I don't remember asking for another chief scout. But, you know, we'll see how that goes. He's okay. He's better. Alright, problem solved. Confirmed. Right, yeah, I'm going to keep going until I finally get a transfer budget, because transfer budgets just don't seem to be coming, ever. That's like a week later than last year, nearly. Right, it's officially budget day, which is good because in real life time it's also nearly 5 a.m. and I should go to bed and pick this up tomorrow. But let's see what's gone on. We have gone down in sponsorship, broadcast revenues, everything commercial. We've gone down on in terms of our shirt sales. Kazaya Sterling leads the way. Then Akira Wright, Matty Longstaff, Ina Bakare, and Izzy Brown, which doesn't make any surprises at all. New scouting budget is £122,000, which is quite a lot. But here's the big one, guys. Here's the big one. What's our budget going to be for our first season back in Europe? I'm going to say 200 grand and 130,000 a week. Well, close enough, I guess. I don't even know how that works out in terms of where we're at now. That because we've got no wiggle room whatsoever, to be honest. It does. That's our committed spending screwed. So we'll go. What's the committed spending? 126,000. All right. Good time. Well, I can't even get that back. Even if I move it all the way across. Let's try and increase the percentage of our transfer revenue though, because that's not going to work either. Awesome. Awesome. No way to find more money in the contract then. Cheers. Cheers, boys. This could be an interesting summer because we're about to lose Ina Bakare. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens, especially because I really want a centre-half. I don't need to replace Ina Bakare directly, but I do want a centre-half, and there's some interesting players coming up. So, we'll see what happens. Okay, so it's June the 18th, and we've had our first big out of the season. I clicked past it because I was trying to get stuff done, but we've had our first big out of the season. Brighton Bakare has left us for 2.8 million, which is really good. He's now valued at 575 at Bristol City. I forgot that he gets half his transfer fees. That gave us 1.4 actually coming in, which isn't actually too bad in the grand scheme of things. Like, it could be significantly worse, but yeah, that's kind of been a thing. So he has now left us. Luckily, we've got 3 backups in the position. Obviously, we've still got Izzy Brown, we've still got Valdemar Liss, and we still have the Brazilian, whose name I always forget. So I looked at the team report, and our best 11 actually hasn't changed that much. Jankovic would normally have been in midfield here, but Magoma is pretty much good enough, so I don't need to worry about him too much. Like, I think he'd be a guy we'd keep around, and we would use this season, which is good. Jankovic's loan is expiring, but that's not a big issue for me, I don't think. So what I've done, rather than trying to find anyone new, because I don't think I need any, even if I could find a centre-half that was going to cost enough or little enough that I could bring them, I don't think they'd be good enough to get into this team, and these loans are extended till next season anyway, or the end of next season. I decided that what I was going to do was to make sure I've not got this fully filtered out. Reinvest or invest in trying to keep some of the players that we've had on loan here. So I've put in a bid of £725 for Igor Gomez, £725,000 for Igor Gomez from Barca, because I'd like to get him tied down. I think he's a really big star for the future. I think they're a bit mad letting me take him, if I'm honest. He's already a Brazilian under-20 international. When I signed him, I thought he was going to develop into a player that was good enough for Barca's first team. So if we can pick him up, he's going to be a really, really strong pickup for us. In terms of other players, Nico Williams, I've put in a bid for Nico Williams for 450 is what they've said that we can get him for, because he's developing fairly well with us. I know his stats are going down at the moment, but that's because he's been injured and such. But I think he'll recover. We've been using him and developing him for a while, so I think keeping him around is pretty good. He's already made 20 odd appearances, 25 appearances for us. I think he's someone we can keep around and develop, and if necessary, flip for a profit. The other guy I've put in a bid for is Flavius Danilic, because for £92,000, this guy that can play anywhere and has stats like this already at 21, playing for the Austrian under-21 side, will probably get into their first team. I think he's a really good signing for us. So, that's math in my head, about 1.3 million committed to that, which means there is some financial deficit because we've got 1.1 available to spend, but also in terms of players going out, Makoviak's about to go, Galliano is about to go, Bootgig is about to go, and Mbemba going on loan will free up some wages, and there's still a few players in the squad that I'm trying to move on. If we look at the guys with sort of lowish potential, not necessarily in the first team, although Simon Shish can probably go if we get a good enough bid for him. Indijoli is wanted by Ipswich, and frankly I don't see him being a player for us going forward, so that could bring in some money if I can get him gone. I've got a weird feeling Akira Wright's going to get a bid for him that we cannot refuse as well, which is going to be an issue. So we're going to kind of play it by ear a little bit. Also, if we take out all the players in the senior team, we look at the guys in the second team. We've got a massive backup squad. Most of these guys are either going to go at the end of their contract or can go if a bid comes in for them. So I'm hopeful. I'm Archie Davis as well. I've already agreed a transfer for. Same with Morgan Boys and a few others. I think we can probably find a way to get some cash in and make these deals go through. So hopefully we'll be okay. But we'll come back when there is news of people coming in, and we'll see what happens. Okay, a few more quick updates. We have got youth players being promoted into our second team. The best among them are really Sarnowski and Furley. Furley, annoyingly, is still learning to play as a central midfielder. Hopefully he's still learning. I told him to learn it. Are you learning it? Good work. I didn't tell you to learn central midfielder attack. I told you to learn Masala. But you'll figure that out again eventually. Yeah, I wanted to learn to play central mid because having him able to play there is going to mean he can actually play for us. Also, Sarnowski we saw when he came through the youth team. Looks like he's going to become a really good goalkeeper to the point where I'm tempted to loan him out this season. In fact, loaning him out this season is probably quite a smart move, although we're going to try and make people pay all his wages because, you know, we'll say he can play against us though, because it'd be interesting if we play against him in a cup to see how good he really is. Fixtures have been released. We are opening against Gornik, and we are finishing against Radomiak, which is fairly good. That Gornik game should be the first game of the season. I forgot to mention the last update. Actually, we had the European fixtures released. We're going to receive just over 900,000 for TV rights, and awarding prize money based on the team's average winnings over previous seasons. We've been given 622,000 for performances over the last 6 years. Okay, cool. I don't understand. We'll change that because that makes sense. Some referees have moved. Squad selection rules. Has anything changed for us? For the Euro Cup, we can have 25 players. 4 have to have been trained here. 8 have to be Polish, which I'm going to struggle with. I'm hoping there is a number of players. I hope that this is largely the same way players under 20 or whatever cannot or can be, whatever, can play regardless of being registered or not. And that's not changed at all, so that's fine. Yeah, we did get the schedule in for European games for this season. So, for example, the next episode after this will be us playing Gornik and then us playing Zrinjski, who are from Bosnia, the Bosnian Premier League. I don't know how good the Bosnian Premier League is without looking at the competition thing. Is it above or below us is the big question. The Bosnian Premier League is going to be a thing we have to try and find. Hopefully it's a long way below us. Our league is currently sitting in 34th, 33rd, there we go. And the Bosnian Premier League is, well, we're going down, that's good. Shout if you see it. Shout if you see where the Bosnian Premier League is. It can't be below the Gibraltar National League, surely. Is it way above us? I assumed it would be below us because, logic. I can sort that by country. Of course I can. Let's do it that way. So we're 33rd. The Bosnian Premier League is 49th. So there may be some scope for us to beat them. And then if we do beat them, I believe our next game is already drawn. I want to say it was Osijek. They did a draw. I'm sure there was a draw done. Stages best placed second qualifying round. It did do the draw. Yeah, we play Osijek from Croatia. I don't think I have got the Croatian first league loaded. It is significantly better than ours, um, which is a problem because our expectation is that we get to the group stage, which does require us to win 3 games. 3 games, right? Requires us to win 4 ties. It just keeps getting better. It requires us to win four ties against increasingly more difficult sides, you'd imagine, to get to the group stage, and we've got to play a significantly bigger team in the second round if we get through the first one. So yeah, that's what's going on. Again, I'm going to come back either for that game, which is in, well, I say for the first 2 games, which is in either 12 days' time, or if any big transfer news happens. So stick with. Right, it's July the 1st. We finally made it to that side of to the new window opening, and these are the new signings that have come in. Finally all confirmed. So Kevin Benitez, the centre half, we've had him on loan for a while. He didn't actually play last season, but he's got really big potential. Argentine under-19 international. He came in on a free, so I'm quite happy with that, and so are the fans, which is pretty good. Jordi Lucis, we finally confirmed as signing for us. I don't know how he's going to develop, but we've used him a few times. He's always played fairly well for us. Like he had a fairly good run towards the back end of the season before last now. The season where we avoided relegation had a fairly good run, so we've given him a chance. The fans not quite so convinced. We've got a C for this guy, Benafides, who comes in from Independiente, Uruguayan ex-under-20 international. 2.5 stars currently, potentially 4. Could turn into something. We're going to see how that shakes out. Registration is going to be a big issue though, because I forgot that once players turn 22, they can no longer be registered. They have to be registered to play even. Matty Longstaff has now signed. We knew that was coming. That's all good. Luis Fiorini has come in. He has come in from Manchester City, another attacking midfield option, because as if I wasn't already overwhelmed with attacking midfield options, another one is always going to work out just fine, right? But he's spent a year on loan at Breda. He might turn into a special player. I'm quite happy with him as a signing. Igor Gomez now officially in the door for permanent. Unsure why he's been signed after such an average loan spell. We've got to be an average loan spell. If that was an average loan spell, I can't wait to see what he does when he's playing here for a living. Flavius Daniluc apparently got himself an A- as a signing, despite also apparently having an average loan spell and not being anywhere near as good as Gomez, so figure these fans out. And then Nico Williams, of course, comes in. Registration-wise, like I said, this gives me a real issue to consider, because if we look at the top end of our team, obviously Longstaff is going to get registered. Just have a quick check, see who else there is who is not under 20. There should be a way to hide players who aren't under 22. Benafides can get registered, that works out okay. And anyone else who looks like they need to be registered. Smart Place says to register a Hadme, doesn't it? Because these guys will definitely go on loan somewhere. For another year, a Hadme, despite not being 22, needs to be registered, so we'll consider that. In fact, we can't consider that. That is our maximum of players, which is good. Okay, that worked out nicely. So that's the registration taken care of for the season. That's a good start. At least 8 players trained by a club in Poland. Okay. Well, I guess this is the end of Sven Broderson's time at the club then. We will say goodbye to Sven Broderson, because there's already teams after him, so getting rid of him shouldn't be too difficult. It's a shame, because I thought he'd develop into something good, but if we get a payday for him, we'll take the payday for him. Why is that still saying a minimum of 8 players trained? I've just taken him out of the squad. I'm so confused. We have 5. We've left space in the squad. I've got to get rid of one more player. Interesting. Okay. I need to figure that out because there's a few players I could sell, but there's no one I want to sell. We'll take Sprissa out of the squad for a second because he's not good enough to be playing it. He is wanted. I could just send him out on loan, and that would solve that issue. We're going to demand his wages paid though because we're not daft. We'll confirm that for now. That should be good enough for our first game, which is going to be the next episode, the Gornet game. And we'll sort out the squad numbers just while I'm here because, you know, it's important to make sure players feel like they're looked after. No preferred one. Okay, cool. Dixon, Bonner. Oh, so many squad numbers. I'm going to do that off camera because that's really boring for you guys to watch. Davis has gone, by the way, to Sandecha. I'll go through the outs in a list because that's going to be far easier. And I'll sort out the mentoring off camera too because that's going to be important. So, this is what the transfers in and out look like so far. Coming in, you've just seen these guys. Fairly straightforward. I also have Lewis Thompson currently on trial from Norwich, just so I can have a look at him because he might be an answer to a problem in midfield too. In terms of the outs, Daniel Atherton went to Southend for £120, which was a good deal because his contract was running out literally 10 days later. They were that determined to bring him in that they couldn't even wait for his contract to run out. Nolan Mbemba's gone back out on loan to Hearts. Matty Folds has gone to Ingolstadt on a free. Morgan Boys has gone to Corona on a free. They've just got themselves promoted, I think. Did they win the playoffs? They didn't win the playoffs. Okay, fine. Then he can stay down there. That works fine for me. Nathan Wyszynski has gone to Miec Leżnica, where he will link up with his former teammate Bruno Oliveira, who should still be there or thereabouts somewhere. No? Yeah, there he is. I was going to say, I'm sure he should be there or thereabouts. So Wyszynski has gone there, which is nice. Or Wyszynski. Daniel Owusu has gone to Sandhausen on a free. He was never getting on our team. Archie Davis just joined Sandecha. Sandecha are still stuck in that first division, but he should make their first team squad, you would think. Stefan O'Connor is still there as well, so those guys can be friends, which is nice. We then let Craig Galliano go to back to Malacca, who have been promoted. Let's have a quick look at their squad, see what their team looks like. I'm sure some of these guys were sold to them by us. I seem to have sold them a few players over the last couple of seasons. So we'll see how that works out, because obviously their manager, our old assistant manager, Philip Makoviak went to Vitsu for £16,000, which is a good deal for us because he wasn't getting anywhere near our team. And maybe he'll see his way back up into the top flight. And then Paul Gig joined Girota, who are in the 4th division. Also because, you know, lots of players released. Notable among them, Max Selic, who was the guy we brought in because we thought might turn into a decent centre half, and never really managed it. So he's gone. Only ever played one game for us, and he just never kind of made the grade. So he's gone. Jordan Graham has gone as well, who we brought in just to give us a wide option last season. Ended up sending out on, or season before last, ended up sending out on loan last season. Contract ran out, let him go. Was no point keeping him around. Arthur Okonkwo was a guy we thought might make it at one stage. He's currently wanted by Miec and Gritschatz, so we may meet him again. But he never made it. Genesini looked like he might make it for a while. Louis Lomas played for us as well, I seem to remember. It says one game, I remember him playing. It was on a live com. He's gone. He's probably going to go to Scunthorpe apparently, but at least he's found some offers. He was not good enough for us. He was an idea of where we were at. Even Moreno, we looked at, I think. Roy Toll was a guy I brought in when I was still playing with wingers, and or as an option at winger, and he never played, so he has gone. Probably for the best. Stupienko we saw, Whippet we saw. They're gone. They're all gone. Bunch of players gone. That's the highlight of today. We're also waiting for Tope, Schwerman, Spin, and Tigges, and possibly a Hadmate to go out on loan. So things will start evening out. We'll start seeing what's going on. We've got some transfer budget remaining because I set the European progression bonus as low as I could, which made some room. So that's all helped. Yeah. So that is pretty much the transfer window. If anything happens between now and the game that we're doing on the live com tomorrow, I will of course let you know, but I don't think much is going to happen. I think those 4 guys will go on loan, and that'll pretty much be the ball game for us for the window. But in the meantime, guys, if you've enjoyed this video, which has not been as long as usually a transfer special goes for me, I think, then you can smash like and subscribe, which I recommend highly, because liking and subscribing is good for the soul. Whole bunch of socials down there, hit up the socials. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching. I've been Chasing Lamely. I'll see you tomorrow.